A few tips for your downward facing dog. Sanskrit name, I love Sanskrit. For downward facing dog is Adho Mukha Shavasana. So downward facing dog. So a really important aspect of downward facing dog is your hands. Yeah, the positioning of your hands. You've got to spread your fingers really wide and pushing the palms into the mat. So I'll show you what I mean. So from downward dog, I'll enter downward dog from tabletop. I spread those fingers really wide. My hands are about shoulder width apart. Knees in line with the wrists, so about hip width apart. And so as I make my entry into downward facing dog, spreading those fingers, pushing palms into the mat, grip the mat with the tips of the fingers. Next step, untucking my toes. So you notice how I've untucked my toes. So I'm going to push through the hands and I'm going to gently elevate my hips up towards the ceiling, start to push my hips back towards my heels. So with downward facing dog, you'll notice that because I've been practicing yoga for a little while now, my feet are flat on the ground. But you might notice, depending on what stage you're at with your yoga practice, that your feet are up a little bit. That's okay. So a good tip to help you encourage those heels towards the mat and also promote ankle mobility and stretch some muscles, tendons and ligaments like your Achilles tendon and the calves and some major ones in the feet is what we call walking the dog. So just notice how I'm pedaling my feet out. Yeah, so one heel raises, the other one lowers. And what this does is invites a stretch up the back of your leg. So that stretch, you might find it goes all the way up into your glutes. So walking the dog is really important. Feet about hip width apart, head hangs really loose. So there's a few things you can do in your downward dog also. So there's walking the dog. Is what we call ballerina dog. So bring the feet a little closer together, lift those heels right up off the mat and then gently lower. Then there's letting your feet fall to the side. So bringing both feet together so the heels touch. It's a bit of a stretch for the hip and then go the other way. So and you want to stay in your downward facing dog. It's one of those poses. You can stay there comfortably till you notice that your wrists get a bit sore. So there's another tip I have for you is if you notice that your wrists are getting a bit sore, try shifting your weight back. So you might notice if you've got a mirror or something to work with, that'd be ideal because then you can check in with your with your reflection in the mirror or the window, whatever you choose to use. So if you find it's a bit strong on the wrists, maybe your weight's too far forward, try taking the glutes back. So you'll notice, look at the transfer of my weight when I take my glutes back. All of a sudden, my wrists aren't bearing the entire weight of the body. So that's another little tip for your downward dog. So yeah. Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward facing dog, is a beautiful pose. You get a lot out of it. It's a restorative pose. It counts as an inversion because you're forward bending, so the heart rate generally slows down. Downward dog also promotes ankle mobility into the calves, the hammies, get a bit of a stretch for the glutes. It's a great workout for the shoulders, and it's fun. Some of the things you can do in downward dog are a lot of fun. So Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward facing dog.